caption into the, I'm gonna caption into the caption box here,
Okay.
as well as stream text. So you should be able to see captions in both, if you can get the link.
Okay.
Gabe, can you double check that everyone in the waiting room
Yes, I'm gonna do that right now.
is people who are being nominated? I'm pretty sure I got it.
So I'm gonna say the names, or, well, no, because we're already live, so I'll just look at it. So give me just 1 second before we start. Can you put a message in the waiting room to let them know that we'll begin shortly? And then Aaron Mounds is in the waiting room.
Yeah, a couple people were in the wrong meeting, so
Oh.
clicked the wrong Zoom link. Okay, we can give it like 4 more minutes before we start,
Yes, that'd be great.
just so that people who use the wrong link can get in. I'm gonna ask again, is there anyone in here who has not been able to have iClicker downloaded and sign up for the class? Is everyone good there? If you're not, hit no, and I'll see it. Cool. All right, let's go ahead and get started. I am calling this meeting of the 63rd session of the Student Government Association Student Senate to order at 7:09 p.m. on August 19th, 2020. Hold on, I accidentally closed out. of my document. Here we go. Okay. I have taken roll as people were admitted into the Zoom meeting, so there's no need for a roll call. We will now move into public forum. Public forum provides a chance for individuals to have the privilege of speaking before the Senate. This is a time for the Senate to listen to what the community has to say, and to that we offer our undivided respect and attention. I would like to remind everyone that although we allow the speakers the privilege to use this platform, the opinions of the speaker do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the association or the university. Lastly, in essence of time, we do limit speeches in public forum to a length of 3 minutes unless the speaker has spoken to us about it ahead of time. There is no one who has spoken to us beforehand about speaking in public forum today. And because we are in a Zoom format, we are only allowing those who spoke to us anytime before 30 minutes before the meeting started to speak during public forum. And seeing as there is no one, we can now move into item 4. We don't have the minutes. Our clerk of the Senate resigned a couple days ago, so we are still working on finding someone to fill that position. If you know anyone who might be interested, it's only 10 hours a week. It is paid. And we'll be able to have all of our minutes coming up here soon. So moving on to item 5, approval of the agenda. Are there any problems with the agenda as it currently stands? Please raise your hand if you would like to. Great. Seeing none. Okay, seeing none, we can now move on to item 6, consent agenda. Is there anyone who would like to add anything to the agenda at this time? Great, seeing none, there is no unfinished business, so we will skip over item 7 and move into item 8, new business. Starting with item A, SB-63-022, appoint Ahmed Ajola to the position of engineering senator. So this was introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President of the Constitution and the law of Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Ahmed Ajola to the position of engineering senator. It is referred to the committee as a whole. Vice President Haas, would you like to speak on behalf of this nomination?
Yes. Ahmed really, he just showed a great passion for SGA and what SGA could do for the international student population, but also the graduate student population. And so he felt like a great fit for the Senate this semester or this year.
Great. Are you here to speak? Go ahead. Ahmed, you can say your piece now.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ahmed Olanrewaju Ijaola. I'm a third-year PhD candidate in the Department of Mechanical Engineering. I'm from Nigeria, and I'm applying for this. I applied for this position just to be an official voice through which the student opinions may be expressed. Also, I applied for the position to be involved in any policy that might affect the welfare of the students on WSU campus. I also applied for the position in order to promote the right of both undergraduate and graduate students on Wichita State University campus. It's nice to meet you all.
Thank you, Ahmed. At this time, are there any questions for Ahmed? All right, seeing none, thank you very much, Ahmed. We will now move into the debate period on this bill. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in negation of this nominee? Okay. Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period at this time. If you would please open your iClicker apps. You should be able to join the meeting. Start your session. Please click A for yes, B for no, and C for abstain. With 28 in favor and 0 against, this passes. Congratulations, Ahmed Ijola. You are now a senator. Moving on to item B, SB-63-023, appoint Brady Flesner to the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice, introduced by President Khan. By the authority vested in her as president by the Constitution and laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Brady Flesner to the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice. President Khan, would you like to speak for this nominee?
Yes, I would. In the interview, Brady presented great, problem-solving skills and unbiased decision-making alongside ethical action-taking. I believe these are some key values the Supreme Court Justice needs to have. And so, due to these reasons, I am appointing Brady to this position. Thank you.
Thank you, President Khan. Brady Flesner, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yes, hi. As you just heard, my name is Brady Flesner. I am from Medicine Lodge, which is a small town in southern Kansas. And before coming to WSU, I was awarded the Red Scholarship and I decided to take that to Wichita State. I decided to pursue majors in both forensic science and psychology to, after I graduate, become a forensic scientist at a police department. Now, there were several reasons I decided to join SGA. One of them being I know that college is a place where you grow and learn more about your career, but it's also a place where you grow and develop more as a person and you find out who you are. And one of the best ways to do that is to get involved on campus. And I thought, what better way to do that than student government? Now, after realizing I was going to apply to SGA, it was just a matter of finding which branch was best suited for me. So after hearing more about them, I decided to apply for the judicial branch as a Supreme Court Justice because I believe it ties very well to my major and it will give me a lot of insight into how the criminal justice system works in the real world because I will be dealing with a lot of the criminal justice system when I do go into my field. Now, those are two big reasons I decided to apply, but the main one is I want to make sure that people's voices are heard. I'm sure many of us have had times where our thoughts or opinions have been discarded and we feel ignored, and I don't want people to feel that way, especially in the courtroom. The courtroom should be a place where you feel safe and comfortable to tell your full story on whatever the court case is about, and you should feel like you shouldn't have a fear of being ridiculed, of being harmed by anyone, because if you don't tell your full story, it can honestly cause more harm to you than if you don't tell your full story. Because if you are guilty and you don't confess and say everything, you can end up with a worse punishment than you would have originally been imposed. And if you are innocent and you don't tell the full story, people could misread everything and they could possibly think you are guilty. Now, I believe that the courtroom is one of the most important places for people to be heard just because of that. And I want to make sure that the courtroom in Wichita State feels very safe and people feel comfortable to tell their story.
Thank you, Brady. Are there any questions for Brady at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period at this time. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this candidate? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in negation for this nominee? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Again, it is A for yes, B for no, C for abstain. Hopefully you can see the question better on your phone now that I fixed it. With 29 in favor and 0 against, this bill passes. Congratulations, Brady. You are now a Supreme Court Justice.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you. Moving on to item C, SB-024. Appoint Grant Day to the position of representative to the Wichita State University Student Publications Board of Directors, introduced by President Khan. By the authority vested in her as president by the Constitution of the Laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she nominates Grant Day to the position of Student Director of the Wichita State University Student Publication Board of Directors. President Khan, would you like to speak about this?
Yes. I'm appointing Grant Day to this position because he has great knowledge and understanding of journalism itself. And on top of that, he has ethical decision-making skills, which I think are going to be beneficial for both sides. And it will, at the end of the day, benefit all students. And therefore, I have nominated Grant Day. Thank you.
Senator Day, would you like to speak on behalf of yourself?
Yes, I would. Okay, so basically, good evening, everyone. I'm Grant Day, like everyone said. I'm happy to potentially serve on the Student Publication Board of Directors. For those who don't know, this is essentially the governing board of the Sunflower, which is our lovely student newspaper that's an invaluable asset to all students on campus. So I'm happy to be a part of that if I'm appointed. It does a variety of things. It basically approves the student fees proposal for the Sunflower, which is where it gets most of its money, and it helps to hire the editor and advertising manager of the paper and does some other business type stuff. This may seem like a kind of a minute bureaucratic position, but that's all. I'm all for doing that. So hooray. I hope to make a positive impact on the position. I'm grateful for this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Day. Is there anyone who has any questions for Senator Day at this time? Great, seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in negation for this nominee? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. right. With 27 in favor, 0 against, and 2 abstaining, this bill passes. Congratulations, Grant Day. We will now move on to item D, SB-63-025, appoint Zachary James to the position of student body treasurer. Introduced by President Khan by the authority vested in her as president by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Zachary James to the position of student body treasurer. President Khan, would you like to speak on this bill?
Yes. So I feel like the first time I wrote this bill, I had little to say, but now that I've had the opportunity to work with Zachary James in his role as the interim treasurer, I have more to add to that. First and foremost, Zachary James, he is very passionate about student government. And when he applied for this position, he had this focus on fixing the student fees process, which is the role of our treasurer in the association. And that kind of made him a suitable nominee for this particular role. And now that I've had a few weeks to work with him, I learned that it was a great decision for him to be in this position, because he has already started to make those strides, educate himself further, and he's always in and out working and doing. I mean, today he wasn't supposed to be in, but he came into the office and he still worked. So that kind of shows you what type of person he is and how much he is willing to work for the students in this capacity. And I hope you all vote in favor of his nomination. Thank you.
Thank you, President Khan. Zachary James, would you like to speak on behalf of yourself?
Yes, I would. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zachary James. My pronouns are he, him, his, and I'm your nominee for a student body treasurer. For those who don't know me, I'm a third-year student studying political science, and I have been a senator for the past 2 sessions of SGA. In my first session, I wasn't a part of student fees, but I still went to some of the meetings that I could attend, and I just did it just to learn more about the process and find out what exactly goes on during the meetings. During the last session, I was actually appointed to be a member of student fees, and I believe that we did a great job of allocating the money as we saw fit. I was also appointed to treasurer of ambassadors for diversity and inclusion last semester in April. So as many of you know, with the separation of the cabinet from the Senate, the treasurer is no longer the chair of the Budget and Finance Committee. With this being said, I believe that I can set a precedent of what this position should look like. I think the biggest thing now is that the treasurer can focus more on student fees throughout the year so that they can do more research, look back at past sessions and past student fees, and be prepared with a game plan longer before the student fees process begins. I also believe that with the help of the Budget and Finance Chair and Committee, we can ensure that any money we allocate through funding bills this semester be used in the best way possible and used in the right way. And I stand open for questions.
Are there any questions for Zachary James at this time? Senator Day.
All right. Obviously, and you didn't really talk about this, but you're very active on campus, all kinds of student organizations and whatnot, like you're the treasurer of ADI, you're involved in like your fraternity, you're involved in a lot of other stuff. So how are you going to make enough time to work the 20 hours a week for your position? And is that going to be a problem for you?
That's a great question. Thank you for that. I already let the other organizations know that even when I was interim, that this takes the first position when it comes to time management and stuff like that. So I've already set aside time, the 20 hours a week, to ensure that this job is fulfilled to its best capabilities, and everything else is just placed on the back burner for now. Thank you for that question.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for the interim treasurer, James, at this time? Senator Zacharias.
Okay, so President Khan mentioned that you are wanting to focus to fix student fees this year. How are you planning on doing that, and what issues do you want to tackle?
Thank you for that question. As you may have known, there was a task force put together to basically change how student fees operates. And basically going off of that, if it passes, I will basically be making sure that we're following those guidelines in the right way, making sure that everything goes according to how the task force set all the different rules and regulations that you'll see later on tonight, and just making sure that, there isn't any layover when it comes to, certain organizations or certain groups feeling like they have more of a say in the process than others as well.
Thank you for your question. Are there any other questions for Senator or Interim Treasurer James? Senator Zacharias.
If you could name a specific issue, like your top issue with student fees, what would that be?
It would probably be the transparency or the lack of transparency when it goes back to the students, because a lot of students don't actually understand the student fees process and what exactly it all means when they look at the big numbers and stuff like that. So I think that once the student fees process begins, I could work with the director of media or director of public relations and just put together a small excerpt saying what we went over that day to send back to the students so they get a better understanding of it.
Thank you for your question. Senator Mounts.
So it feels like every year when we talk about student fees, we always talk about how there's a lot of problems with it. So how are you going to ensure that next year we're not going to have to do like a whole overhaul of the system like we had the last 2 sessions?
That's a great question. And honestly, I think that we have to first let the legislation pass, firstly, before we try to make any changes to it. And secondly, we have to let it play out as well. We have to make sure that we're doing it the right way. And we have to make sure that before we try to change it, we're looking at every option that we have within it.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Interim Treasurer James at this time? Senator Zacharias.
So as a member of Cabinet, how do you plan to prepare for the hearings for student fees in February? What will you be using your office hours for until that time?
So far what I've been doing is attending different meetings about basically what the task force has been talking about, like the changes to the student fees. And after that, I plan on looking back at last year and the year before's and coming up with basically my idea of what it will look like this year, since we are facing a pandemic right now. There's going to be a lot of changes with the funding and a lot of changes with the funding requests as well. So I'll basically be doing that for the first few weeks of my term.
Thank you. Are there any other questions at this time? Great, seeing none, we will now move into the debate period. Thank you very much for your time, Interim Treasurer James. I am looking for someone to speak in affirmation of this nominee at this time. Senator Kirk.
Yes, in the time that what I have just seen from him and everything that he has done in the previous years and going forward, I completely have faith in this nominee and what he wants to do and his dedication to the Senate, but not even just to the Senate, to all of the other organizations that he has. Anything that he is dedicated to, he gives full dedication to and complete just honor to it. I really hope that you put complete faith into him, and any questions that you have, and not even just questions, anything that you want to go further with, believe and know that you can go to this candidate and ask him anything and everything that you need.
Thank you, Senator Kirk. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation at this time? Seeing none, is there another speak in affirmation for this nominee? Senator Hull.
So I worked closely the past couple months with interim treasurer James. As he said before, we are kind of redefining what budget and finance in this treasurer role look like since they are now separated. He has been able to answer all of our questions. We've started to work together to figuring out new ways for student fees and different ways that we can help our peers when it comes to money things that have to do with the university. So I have full faith in him being able to complete this role in a full capacity. So I encourage you all to vote in favor of this nominee.
Thank you, Senator Hull. I'm looking for a speech in negation at this time. Seeing none, is there another speech in affirmation for this nominee? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. With 27 in favor, 0 against, and 3 abstaining, this bill passes. Congratulations, Treasurer James. We will now move on to item E, SB-63-027, appoint Ethan Balzer to the position of at-large senator. So it was introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Ethan Balzer to the position of at-large senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to give a authorship speech?
Yeah, so many of you may know Ethan already. He was a past senator in the 61st session. He served SGA well and is very passionate about the student body and about what he can do to help out and make a change. And he just wants to direct that passion in the 63rd session as well. So I'm excited to have him on board if you guys see fit.
Thank you, Vice President Haas. Ethan Balzer, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Speaker Bobbin. Sorry, I don't remember that. Yeah, my name's Ethan Balzer. Like Vice President Haas said, I was part of SGA about 2 years ago during my sophomore year. I was a business/LSA student and also a budget and finance member. I mean, I was also voted most likely stand-up comedian during that session. So naturally, that's my crown achievement, and I'm mainly back here to go for my double. These jokes land better in person. But yeah, I wanted to join back. I want to go back to be to budget and finance specifically. I think it's super important, especially with the COVID crisis. I want to get involved with monetary concerns and relief. Just COVID in general, I think, is probably the most pressing issue going on WSU. And I'd like to go into financial aspects with that, whether it comes from the process of removing physical courses, dealing with parking pass situation. I know is a pretty big hotbed right now. Legislation that just helps with transition. Basically, all of that. I think. I just think naturally it needs to have a full adjustment by all senators, and I think that's would be super important. I'd love to help with that. I think that with my background of back when I served here, I was part of budget and finance, I was part of student fees, I was part of SRC board of directors, and I really liked my time during there, and I think I can come in with a specific different angle of sorts that I know how SGA operates and how WSU background finances work, while still having had a year off from the back room, so I can still look at this from a perspective of a student and not necessarily as a senator or as someone who's kind of always been around. So I think that can be a good perspective to have. I'm also a English student currently in my senior year, and I think that sort of perspective would also help me a lot with helping co-author bills, writing legislation, reviewing a lot of legislations, a lot of that sort of stuff. I've helped with Microcosmos for a few years, a literary journal, and reviewing stories and things like that. And I think I found a lot of common ground between that and my legislation work when I was part of WSU and SGA. But yeah, I'd love to be a part of the group, and I'd love to have you have me. I'm more than willing to take questions if anybody has them.
Thank you, Ethan. Is there anyone who has questions for Ethan Balzer at this time? Seeing none, thank you, Ethan, for your time. We will now move into the debate period. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Mounts.
So I've had the privilege to work with the nominee in question throughout the 61st session. He did a wonderful job representing his constituents and also did a great job on the budget committee. So I will definitely be voting in favor of this nominee. I encourage all of you to do so.
Thank you, Senator Mounts. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation of this nominee at this time? Seeing none, I am now looking for another speech in affirmation. Senator Zacharias.
So I was lucky enough to serve in the same session as Ethan my freshman year, and I saw him in action as a fellow LAS senator, and I think he is a wonderful fit for this session as well as just SGA as a whole, and I will be speaking in favor.
Thank you, Senator Zacharias. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation for this candidate at this time? Seeing none, looking for another speech in affirmation. Senator Day.
Yes, so I have not served with Ethan Balzer yet in a session. I have met him before. He's very devoted to the students of Wichita State, and also I have heard stories about his dedication to budget and finance and to the student fees process. Like even just being on the budget and finance committee last year, serving with the people who served with him. And so I think that really reflects well on him that he was able to see it leave such a positive, lasting impression on people. So I strongly encourage everyone to vote in favor of him.
Thank you, Senator Day. Thank you, Senator Day. I'm looking for a speech in negation at this time. Seeing none, is there another speech in affirmation for this candidate? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Please go ahead and vote on your iClicker app.
Olivia, there's a motion in the chat.
Oh, sorry. Oh, Senator Zacharias with a motion to pass by unanimous consent. Is there any negation? Yeah, does anyone not want to do that? Please raise your hand if you do not want to do that. Seeing none, this bill passes with unanimous consent. Congratulations, Ethan Balzer. You are now a senator in the 63rd session.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Moving on to item F, SB-63-028, appoint Rachel Spencer to the position of at-large senator. Introduced by Vice President Haas, by the authority vested in her as Vice President of the Constitution, by the Constitution and the laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Rachel Spencer to the position of at-large senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to speak about this nominee?
Yeah, so many of you also may know Rachel. She was a senator last session. She's also very involved on campus, both, well, on campus and off campus. She's very civically and politically involved, and I believe she's a great representation of student involvement and just striving to serve the population of our student body in the best way possible. So, yeah.
Thank you, Vice President Haas. Rachel Spencer, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. Well, my name is Rachel Spencer, as most of you know. I previously served in the last session, and my major is in international studies, economics, as well as Spanish. I'm currently in, I'm an ambassador for diversity and empowerment, or sorry, excuse me, ambassador for diversity and community engagement. I am also pretty involved with HALO, Hispanic American Leadership Organization. I am the 4th Congressional District Chair for Kansas Young Democrats, and I'm just kind of involved on campus, and I would love to come back and just represent constituents again and really pursue my passion for SGA. When I first came and entered into SGA, it was just a life-changing experience. It was something that I completely fell in love with. I fell in love with the people there. And so I also just grew a yearning for always representing students' voices and always empowering students to be at their best, and just to put their needs first and to hear them out and be a outlet where they can express their concerns, and be an outlet where they can trust someone to take on the system if they don't feel like they can. And so I'm passionate about SGA, and I would love to return this year.
Thank you, Rachel. Are there any questions for Rachel Spencer at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, thank you very much, Rachel, for your time. We will now move into the debate period on this bill. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation? Senator Mounts.
I would also like to speak in favor of this nominee. I've had the privilege to work with the nominee in question in the last session. Rachel is incredibly involved in cross campus, and it was great to actually, serve in the session with her. I don't think I've ever met anyone else who has like as strong of a voice as she does, and she will do anything for her constituents. So I will definitely be voting in favor, and I cannot wait to have her back in the session.
Thank you, Senator Mounts. I am now seeking a speech in negation at this time. Seeing none, Senator Kirk with a motion to pass this bill by unanimous consent. Is there anyone who opposes at this time? Please raise your hand in the chat. Seeing none, this bill passes with unanimous consent. Congratulations, Rachel Spencer. You are now a senator in the 63rd session.
Thank you so much.
Moving on to item G, SB-63-029, appoint Nathaniel Thomas to the position of out-of-state senator, introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Nathaniel Thomas to the position of out-of-state senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to give an authorship speech at this time?
Yes, so Nate was also a senator last session. He was a freshman senator last session and did a really great job about advocating for his constituencies. And in his interview, he just showed a huge passion to continue doing that advocacy work for out-of-state students as well. So I think he would be a great addition to the team.
Thank you, Vice President Haas. Nathaniel Thomas, if you're here, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yes, I would. So mostly introductory. My name's Nate Thomas. I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm a sophomore studying political science and guitar performance. And I was the senator in the 62nd session representing freshman students, as well as serving on the Ways and Means Committee. And I really enjoyed getting to know students last semester in and out of the association, and I'd like that to continue. I would also like to be a senator because I have access to like a network of students who are from out of state, as well as having studied in the School of Engineering, the School of Music, and Liberal Arts and Sciences. So I believe I have connections to students from different colleges within Wichita State University, and I would like to represent their concerns on the Senate floor or anything related to public health and safety on campus as well. I would also be interested in serving on Ways and Means again, and hopefully have the opportunity to work on legislation there. And last semester, I was also able to keep my constituents informed on what would happen in terms of housing refunds and grading scale adjustments after the university was shut down for the semester. And that's pretty much it. So I'm open for questions now.
Thank you, Nate Thomas. Is there anyone who has questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period on this item. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this bill? Senator Kirk.
Yes, I am going to be speaking in favor of this candidate because the wide range that he has to the different colleges that he has within the College of Fine Arts, at the School of Music, to all the other colleges that he has, I feel like that in itself speaks to the not just the reach, but the dedication he has to not just one college, not just two colleges, but the university as a whole. I really strongly encourage you to speak in favor for this candidate because of the fact that he was in the session last year. He's coming back to continue what he can do, not just for his constituents, but for the whole university. And I strongly encourage you to speak in favor for this candidate.
Thank you, Senator Kirk. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation of this bill at this time? Seeing none, we have a motion from Senator Majors to pass the bill by unanimous consent. Is there anyone who opposes this motion at this time? Please raise your hand in the chat. Seeing none, this bill passes with unanimous consent. Congratulations, Nate Thomas. You are now a senator in the 63rd session. Moving on to item H, SB-63-030, appoint Jack Powers to the position of at-large senator, introduced by Vice President Haas. By the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Jack Powers to the position of at-large senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to give an authorship speech at this time?
Yeah, Jack, can I go? Okay. Yeah, Jack, he demonstrated a great desire to help out the student body and make changes where he wanted to make changes and where he saw them necessary. And also just a big desire to work as a team and be involved within a bigger organization that does good for our campus.
Great, thank you, Vice President Haas. Jack Powers, if you're in the meeting, would you like to give a speech about yourself? Go right ahead.
Well, as you know, my name is Jack Powers. I am a criminal justice major here at WSU. I'm a sophomore this year. And I figured I want to try and get involved as possible. And what better way than what I'm trying now? Oh, sorry, Chair Phil. And if I read it correctly, I'm almost representing the people. Is that what the at-large is? Kind of just like getting a consistent what's the people feeling, and I relay that.
All right, great.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I figured that's, I love talking to people. I like to think I'm personable. I work at Quick Trip, so I have to be good at talking to people and starting conversations with strangers. And I know not everybody likes to do that, so I figured I might as well do it. I'm in Greek life with Lambda Chi Alpha. I do intramurals, so when they start up, I'm gonna be doing that too. And like I said, I'm just trying to get involved. I'm trying to meet new people.
Great, thank you very much, Jack. Is there anyone who would like to ask a question of the nominee at this time? Senator Kirk.
Yes. So I'd like to know, and if you already answered this, I apologize in advance, but what exactly, you said that you're trying to get involved in everything. What exactly will you bring not just to the student government, but to your constituents that you would be speaking for? What would you bring to them to make you unique and very beneficial to the student government and your constituents?
Well, I don't know who was in my position before me, but as a freshman, I had no idea. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they were doing. And I want to, make myself known. I want people to know what they have to say is going to be taken into consideration. That matters. I want them to know I'm going to be there to help them. I want them to feel welcomed and happy, and I want them to feel like they can trust us.
Thank you. Does anyone else have a question for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much, Jack, for your time. We will now move into the debate period on this item. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this bill at this time? Senator Kirk.
Yes, I will be speaking in affirmation for this bill. Sorry, because this candidate is very not just dedicated, but he wants to do what he can for the people that he represents. He wants to do what he can for anyone that he can. He may not, as he just said, he may not know who was in his position in the past, but he cares about the now and forward. He wants to do what he can for anyone and everyone that he can. So I will be speaking in favor for this bill, and I strongly encourage you to do the same.
Thank you very much, Senator Kirk. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation at this time? Seeing none, is there another speech in affirmation of this candidate? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Please go ahead and cast your votes. With 30 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstaining, this bill passes. Congratulations, Jack Powers. You are now a senator in the 63rd session.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope I will not disappoint.
Thank you. We will now move on to item I, SB-63-031, appoint Hannah Harpel to the position of Business Senator. Introduced by Vice President Haas, by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Hannah Harpel to the position of Business Senator. Vice President Haas, if you would like to give an authorship speech at this time, go right ahead.
Yeah, I think Hannah has a drive to be involved and is really, she's really gaining experience on campus this year and has begun as a freshman last year and now wants to be a part of, a bigger body that also makes changes, and she can do that through the business senator position. And I'm really excited to bring her aboard if you guys would like.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Hannah, if you'd like to speak about yourself, go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Hannah Harpel, and I'm currently majoring in Management Information Systems, which is in the business college, obviously, since I'm running for business. But I've lived in Wichita my entire life, and I applied for this position to be more involved on campus and also amplify my fellow students' voices. I think a main goal of mine would be to make students feel more connected with the university and other students, especially since obviously we're not at campus as much as we used to be. Some things that I really want to accomplish during my time would be to further accommodate to the COVID atmosphere by doing things like push for free parking or maybe even support groups. I hope to learn things like how the campus works and also the behind the scenes of student-led conversations and also student organized events. And I also think it would be really cool to learn more about the skill of collaboration and also leadership. And also, I would advocate for my peers by both actively looking for students' opinions on social media. I know I've already seen a lot on tuition and all that stuff on Twitter, and also listening to those who come specifically to me and bringing those opinions to the council and then coming up with ways that we can address that and actions we could further do. Yeah.
Thank you, Hannah Harpel. Are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much for your time, Hannah. We will now move into the debate period on this item. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this candidate at this time? Seeing none, I will give a speech and affirmation for this candidate at this time. I have had the opportunity to get to know Hannah over the last year through our involvement in a couple of organizations together. And I've seen her passion and dedication towards all different kinds of people. She really shows love and care in every single action that she takes. And I think that she will do a great job representing our students and serving all of our students very, very well. I encourage you all to vote in favor of this candidate. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Please cast your votes. With 31 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstaining, this bill passes. Congratulations, Hannah. You will now serve as a senator in the 63rd session. Congratulations. Okay, we can now move on to item J, SB-63-032, appoint Jordy Mosqueda to the position of business senator, introduced by Vice President Haas. By the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Jordy Mosqueda to the position of business senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to give an authorship speech at this time? Go right ahead.
Yeah, Jordy is also someone who is getting more involved as they go and just really brings a great energy, and I think would be a great addition to this organization. They have a lot of experience and would like to serve in representing students and making change on campus.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Jordy, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Jordy Mosqueda. I'm going to be majoring in general business. And so I grew up in Wichita, Kansas, and continue here. I mean, an amazing campus at WSU. So I initially applied because I definitely wanted to create a change. From lots of experience in the past, I have constantly pushed for a change, whether it be for the campus entirely, for a certain amount of people, and for diverse backgrounds. I mean, I definitely look for what's best for the school, what's best for the certain people, the group, the team. Definitely really passionate about creating this change because it's better for the students, it creates a better environment, and it becomes more productive. From past experience, I've worked from different leadership groups at high school and definitely knew how to grow with the team and definitely knew how to connect. And especially with the role, it's not about the role, it's really about the action you take with the team. With this position, I definitely want to grow with the team. I definitely want to accomplish a change for all the business students and all around. I mean, I come from a very diverse background where high school was multicultural. There was a lot of races where we all grew together and we all connected. I mean, it wasn't about separate teams. It wasn't about separate groups. It was definitely uniting people. And that's definitely what I bring to the table. Definitely doing different projects, being a strong advocate about diversity and inclusion. I can definitely say that I bring pretty much a good atmosphere because I grew up with mental illnesses as well. So I can see different perspectives, a low socioeconomic class as well. And definitely having different perspectives and different views, I know I can advocate for different groups and also connect with them on a personal level.
Thank you very much, Jordy. Are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Senator Zacharias.
Hi. So I saw on your application that you applied to be an at-large senator, which would make your constituency all WSU students. And I was just wondering if, did you change your mind to be a business senator, or were you still wanting to have a more vast constituency that you could possibly represent?
I would actually love the opportunity to be an at-large because I just feel like my diverse background is better for me to outreach to people who have a different perspective. Me personally, going through on a personal level, I actually went through depression and anxiety, and I still go through it, but I knew how to grow out of it. And that's definitely an outreach I really want to go through because on a personal level, there's nothing else you can do for a person. I mean, there's once you have a connection with the person, you know how they know that you're a resource, and that's what I want to be for the people. It's not about me personally, it's about the team, it's about the students, as I said, because creating that change for them is just an unbelievable, putting a smile on their face. It's just an unbelievable thing that you can do to people. And that's definitely what I'm here for.
Thank you. Senator Kirk?
Yes. What is you were talking about changes earlier. What are, if any, some changes that you are wanting to implement in any part of SGA, different colleges? What are some things that you're wanting to accomplish in your time if elected?
Great, amazing question. So thing that I have is that people feel intimidated if they see these positions or seeing these things. And one of the things is for me is personal outreach. Definitely talking to people and definitely knowing that they're, even though if they feel underrepresented, that we're there for them. I mean, even if it's just a simple email or a message, or even talk to them in person for safely. Definitely meeting with the people because people feel intimidated. Oh, SGA, but it's really about how we're outreaching, how we're communicating, and that's one of the things that I feel like it's always changing, always networking, and it's always I wouldn't say a problem, but it's always a thing that people find an issue with. And I think that's one of the things that I would create a change for.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? With a motion, Senator Eyrig to pass. Sorry.
No, I apologize. I wanted to respond to Senator Zacharias' question earlier. At this time, we do not have any vacancies in the at-large Senate. We've prepared nominations for each of those. Now, tomorrow, potentially, there will be a seat open pending a resignation, but unfortunately, at this point, all of the seats have been accounted for. If Vice President Haas would consider the decision of moving pending that resignation, we could amend the legislation to appoint Jordy to that position if the seat opens, but until we receive confirmation of that resignation, then he would continue with the business appointment. So since appointments are only at the discretion of those who are empowered to do so, that would have to be up to Vice President Haas to make that decision.
Senator Zacharias, go ahead.
Jordy spoke a lot about talking to underrepresented communities. Are all of our underserved senator positions also filled?
Same with the situation with at-large. All of them have been accounted for. However, there is a pending resignation. So if that seat, if it's resigned before the bill is signed, again, we could make that decision, or Vice President Haas could make that decision, but the same situation with the at-large. So I think that would have to be up to Vice President Haas to make that decision of amending the legislation to grant the other seat if the seat becomes vacant before it's signed into law. Does that make sense?
Gabe, does that have to then come back to Senate?
It does not.
Okay.
If the Senate passes the legislation with the caveat of the pending seat opening, then it would just automatically happen once the resignation is submitted, but it has to be done within the next 7 days before President Khan signs the bill.
Awesome. So then, Jordy, I'll just be in communication with you after this if it goes through.
All right, thank you.
Hold on, wouldn't we have to change it now to which seat it will fill so that we can vote on that specific seat? And not just appoint him as a business senator and then change it in the end?
Yeah, so what you could do, Vice President Haas could accept the friendly amendment to continue the business senate appointment with the caveat that if an underserved seat or at-large seat opens before the bill is signed into law, then we would move into either one of those positions. So if Vice President Haas accepts that as a friendly amendment, then we would vote on continuing the appointment with the caveat that if a seat opens, we would just move the seat over.
That is a friendly amendment.
There you go.
All right, so for clarification for everyone, we will be nominating, if the bill passes, Jordy Mosqueda will serve as a business senator unless a position opens up in either at large or underserved. Then he will serve in one of those positions instead of as a business senator. Is that clear to everyone? Are there any questions? Great. Senator Hull with the motion.
Motion for unanimous consent.
With a motion for unanimous consent, is there anyone who opposes this motion at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, the bill passes. Congratulations, Jordy. You are now serving as a senator in the 63rd session of the Wichita State Student Government Association.
All right, thank you guys for the opportunity.
Of course. Moving on to item K, SB-63-033, appoint Bailey Sandy to the position of at-large senator, introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Bailey Sandy to the position of at-large senator. Vice President Haas, would you like to give a authorship speech at this time?
Yeah, Bailey is already super dedicated, and she's an incoming freshman this year, and her dedication just showed throughout her interview, but also she followed up with me and continued to be in constant communication with me, which just proved her passion about what she wants to do and how she wants to make a difference here.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Bailey, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yes. All right, so yeah, again, my name is Bailey Sandy. I'm currently being offered the position at-large senator with the Student Government Association. I graduated from Great Bend High School this June, and I'm currently a freshman majoring in political science and minoring in psychology. I'm a first-generation college student, and I'm currently a Rudd Scholar. And the major reason I wanted to be involved in student government is to be able to represent the needs, concerns, and ideas of the students I will serve. Some relevant experiences that make me qualified for this position is that I was a 4-year policy debater, served as the president of my speech team, and participated in congressional debate and Model UN at my high school, and had many other leadership roles in different activities. Being in these leadership roles allowed me to connect with a wide variety of students and become a voice for them. And I have found that this is literally my passion. And in our chapter of SGA, I wish to connect and to communicate. I hope to bring new ideas by connecting with a wide variety of students to understand how we can make our school a better place. I believe that the way we make our school better is by listening to the students, because they are the ones who help run and fund it. Currently, I am already involved as a student ambassador and a Shocker navigator on campus. So I have that network to listen to many peers from all backgrounds. Not only this, but I want to build a bond with our administration and increase communication, especially in this time, so we can ensure a healthy environment for our students and staff. And I want to make sure we're all being transparent, and not only us, but as well as our university. So again, my name is Bailey Sandy, and I thank you guys for allowing me to speak for tonight's session.
Thank you very much. Bailey, are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much, Bailey, for your time. We will now move into the debate period. I am looking Senator Kirk with a motion to pass this bill by unanimous consent. Is there anyone who would like to oppose this motion at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, the bill passes with unanimous consent. Congratulations, Bailey. You are now serving as a senator in the 63rd session of SGA. We can now move on to item SB-63-035, appoint Alondra Lerma to the position of underserved senator, introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Alondra Lerma to the position of underserved senator. Vice President Haas, if you could please give your authorship speech.
Yeah, Alondra and I had a really great interview, and she showed her passion for just representing underserved populations. And she has already begun her work throughout her time in high school and through volunteer experiences and just different opportunities she has already taken. But she would like to continue her work on campus and at a more local level within our community here.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Alondra, if you'd like to give a speech about yourself, now would be the time.
Hi, my name's Alondra. I am a freshman this year at Wichita State University. My major is psychology, but I will most likely transfer to the Honors College because I hear they have a new degree that you can specify in multiple areas that you are interested in. One reason why I really truly applied to this position, the underserved Senate seat, was because I myself feel like growing up in the public school system at Wichita State, not Wichita State, but at Wichita USD 259, I felt like there could have been more representation, just serving the students and not just like focusing on other things. Like I remember like going to the counselor's office and talking about like college and just different things, and their first priority was schedules and everything else, which I respected, but I also didn't find the services I needed like for mental health and like for other things. So that's a little bit about me. I'm trying not to speak so fast, but kind of nervous.
Thank you very much, Alondra. Are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Senator Kirk.
Yes, so applying for an underserved senator, what position, what exactly, what are some things that you would want to do for the population of the underserved community here at Wichita State?
I'm gonna give you like a little background. I've been working with Root the Power, which is a nonprofit organization that registers people to vote. And so one thing that I would like to do on campus is to encourage students to become active and know that they have a voice, not only just in voting, but being a part of the community and being interacting with the youth and with people from all sorts of backgrounds, and just being able to continue like the message that the Office of Diversity and Inclusion has at WSU. And I know Gabriel also sent me more like he informed me about Shocker's Vote that's happening this school year, I believe, this semester. And so I just really want to encourage that, promote that, and be a part of that.
Thank you very much. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? Great, thank you very much. Thank you for your time, Alondra. We will now move into the debate period at this time. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this bill? I would also like to remind everyone to please keep your cameras on as you are in the meeting. Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to speak in negation of this bill? Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Please go ahead and vote on your app. With 30 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions. This bill passes. Congratulations, Alondra. You are now serving in the 63rd session of the Student Government Association. We can now move on to item M, SB-63-037, appoint Emily Smith to the position of freshman senator, introduced by Vice President Haas. By the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Emily Smith to the position of freshman senator. Vice President Haas, go ahead and give your authorship speech.
Yeah, Emily also wanted to just jump right in and get as involved as possible. She mentioned in her interview as an incoming freshman, she just wanted to get into this organization and really make some change and do the work.
Thank you, Vice President Haas. Emily, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Emily Smith. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm an incoming freshman. I graduated from Andover Central High School, and I've lived in Wichita for most of my life. I'm majoring in social work with plans to eventually move on to law school. I chose to apply for this freshman senator position because I have a passion for politics and civic engagement. I was in debate and forensics for several years, which influenced my interest in politics and public speaking. I was also in the cabinet and eventually president of my high school's politics club, which really nurtured my leadership skills and gave me the ability to help create conversations while also keeping things polite and under control. Last summer, I was nominated by my APUS history teacher to attend the Robert Dole Youth Civic Leadership Institute at KU. There, I was able to refine my leadership and public speaking skills further, while also learning more about civic engagement and government. My goals mostly revolve around public health and destigmatizing marginalized groups. I want to make campus a safer place by introducing better sexual education, especially revolving around consent and LGBTQ+ issues, which has the potential to benefit all demographics. I think WSU has done a really wonderful job creating access to mental health services on campus, and I want to maintain and possibly further that to destigmatize mental health issues. That's pretty much all I've got for right now.
Thank you very much, Emily. Is there anyone who would like to ask any questions of the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much, Emily, for your time. We will now move into the debate period on this bill. I am now looking for a speech in affirmation of this nominee. Seeing none, I am now looking for a speech in negation of this nominee. Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period. Please get ready to vote. With 29 in favor, 0 against, and 1 abstention, this bill passes. Congratulations, Emily. You are now serving as a senator in the 63rd session of SGA.
Thank you.
Of course, we can now move on to item N, SB-63-038, appoint Natalia Lozano to the position of freshman senator. Introduced by Vice President Haas, by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, she directs the appointment of Natalia Lozano to the position of freshman senator. Vice President Haas, go ahead and give your authorship speech.
Yeah, Natalia showed great passion for our campus and great passion for her constituencies in her interview, and I think she would be a great addition to the team as well.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Natalia, would you like to give a speech?
Hi, my name is Natalia Lozano. I'm from Derby, Kansas. I'm a freshman and first generation college student. I applied for this position because I really wanted to feel like I was contributing something positive to campus, and I hope to work closely with all of you and get to know you in order to create a positive and welcoming learning experience, whether that be online or physically on campus.
Thank you very much, Natalia. Are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Senator Kirk?
Hi, yes. I've been asking the same question when I don't feel like I understand, so I apologize for those of you who are getting annoyed. But for this candidate, I would like to understand what are some experiences and some like stuff you have interacted with to maybe give you some more can't think of the word, but what gives you what gives you qualification? There it is, to have this position going further.
Okay, so this might sound like a weird answer, but in high school, I was never really involved in things. I was kind of shy and didn't feel comfortable sharing my opinion. So I feel like I can relate to a lot of students on campus who feel like they don't have a voice. And I feel like I could just talk to them and maybe try to better understand them just from that view. And I feel like I'm qualified because I've been working since I was 16. So I've worked in various jobs in the food industry or retail. And I've just come up with a lot of situations, and I know how to kind of think fast, but also think carefully about how to get things done in a positive and effective manner.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much, Natalia, for your time. We will now move into the debate period on this bill. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this nominee? Senator Kirk.
Yes, I just want to say that I love how honest this candidate is. She was very honest to say that she she wasn't really involved in high school, so she knows how a lot of constituents and everybody that are at WSU and how they might feel, and that she can serve them and help them going further in her service to the SGA and to anything else that she's involved in here at WSU. I will be definitely speaking in favor for this candidate, and I strongly encourage you to do the same.
Thank you very much, Senator Kirk. Are there any speeches in negation at this time? Seeing none, is there another speech in affirmation for this nominee? Seeing none, we will now Senator Warden with a motion to pass this bill by unanimous consent. If there are no objections, please raise your hand if you object. Seeing none, this bill passes with the unanimous consent of the Senate. Congratulations, Natalia. You are now a senator for the 63rd session.
Thank you.
We can now move on to item O, SB-63-039, appoint Keith Cassidy to the position of freshman senator, introduced by Vice President Haas by the authority vested in her as Vice President by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Keith Cassidy to the position of freshman senator. Vice President Haas, if you would give your authorship speech.
Yeah, Keith had a strong desire again to get involved, and I think he would be a great addition and perspective to our Senate.
Thank you very much, Vice President Haas. Keith, if you would like to give a speech about yourself, go right ahead.
Hi, I'm Keith. I am a freshman at Wichita State this year, and I'm majoring in psychology with a minor in criminal justice. Originally, I am from Columbia, Missouri, but I mostly grew up in Goddard, Kansas here, where I'm still living today. I went to Eisenhower High School, and there I wasn't really involved in student government, but that's kind of what motivated me to get involved now. As in high school, they were always super involved with the student body, and that was something I looked up to, and it's something that I hope I can do now as a senator. The reason I applied is because I genuinely enjoy helping people. I like to help put them on the path to success, and the path to success is graduating college. I would like to, what stood out to me about SGA was that they appear to be a force that is trying to put a positive attitude on campus. They are trying to make a positive difference, and that's what attracted me to it. As a senator, I hope to create an atmosphere where every student can get the help that they need to succeed. I'd like to always be there for them, whether that be guiding them to the RSC or guiding them to a tutor or just having their voices heard. I think that I can do that. I think that I would be a great candidate for that. Something that I hope to learn as a senator, I would like to learn about other people's backgrounds. Growing up mostly here in Goddard, Kansas, many people had the same background. And in the Senate, I think that I could learn so many different things about so many different people, how they were brought up and how they view the world, because we kind of just had a one-sided view of the world here in Goddard, Kansas. And I would like to see that expand, see my horizon expand with that. As a senator, I will always support the student body, and I will do what is in their best interest. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone who has any questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, Senator Hull with a motion to pass this bill by unanimous consent. If there is anyone who objects to this motion, please raise your hand. Seeing none, this bill passes with the unanimous consent of the Senate. Congratulations, Keith Cassidy. You are now a senator in the 63rd session of the Student Government Association.
Thank you very much.
I'd also like to point out Senator Zacharias's very cute dog. If you're not looking at the overall images, you should. It's really cute. Oh, amazing.
Second that motion.
There's actually two of them, and they're both trying to get in my lap now. And this one's the heavy one. And yeah, sorry.
Amazing.
He's adorable.
We will now move on to item P, SB-63-040. We'd like to apologize to the candidates. We did get a mistake in their name. Their name is actually Niall. So the bill should read appoint Kaylee Brown, or sorry, oh my goodness, appoint Niall Lucella to the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice, introduced by President Khan, by the authority vested in her as president by the Constitution and laws of the Wichita State University Student Government Association. She directs the appointment of Niall Lucella to the position of Supreme Court Associate Justice. President Khan, would you like to give your authorship speech at this time?
Yes, please. So the reason why I'm nominating Nialla is because during her interview, she presented great honesty. She also presented characteristics of being an informative decision maker. And out of all of her characteristics, something that stood out to me was her eagerness to learn. And due to those few reasons, I am nominating her to the Supreme Court Justice position. Thank you.
Thank you very much, President Khan. Niall, if you'd like to give your speech, go right ahead.
All right. Am I unmuted?
No, you're good. Yes.
Okay. Sorry. All right. My name is Niall Lucella. I'm working on a double degree with political science as my primary and modern and classical languages as my secondary, with the bilingual option with the focus on French and Spanish. I was born in Wichita, and for most of my life, I have grown up here in Derby, Kansas, and that's where I currently live. I have a big family. I'm a wife and I'm a mother. And I graduated at 16 from Campus High School, and I did the IB program for my junior year, but then I graduated after. But it was a really good experience. So I really like that. And I love animals. I really like to play with raccoons. I had a job where we had raccoons that would come out and we had like a little pool for them. So I really like exotic animals and stuff and all kinds of animals. So the reasons why I applied to this position are because I really wanted to get more involved with campus because my first 2 years at WSU were like really bad. And I just kind of lost like my focus that I had in high school. And I did really poorly and I was academically dismissed actually. And I just got readmitted in summer and it's been 2 years since I last was in classes before the summer. And so I spent that time reevaluating everything. And I want to do my best to put a good foot forward to be academically successful. So I've adopted new study habits. I did 11 credits this summer and got A's in all of them. And I also feel like getting involved with things around school and also being around other like-minded people who care about school and things like that will be really beneficial to me. And I'm also interested in law, and I felt like this would be a good way to get kind of in the waters of understanding the legal system a little bit better. And I also feel like because of my experience of doing really poorly at first, but wanting to do really good in school, that I could represent other students like that, because I would hope I'm not the only person that comes to college out of high school and really struggles for a bit, but then, regroups and realizes, oh my goodness, I can do this. I just need to try it a different way. And so I feel like I can represent other people like that, because at least for me, I really felt like I was totally alone and that I just was like the only one doing this. But with a little research on the internet, I realized other people do this and it's not the end of the world. So some of my ideas for the position, I'd really like to help make the student body more aware of the final appeal process available to them, because I had no idea about this at all until I looked into how to get involved in school and I saw about Student Government Association. And I'd also like to maybe try and help make it more understandable from the website, because I wasn't able to find a lot of information on there about this exactly. So I asked most of my questions and got most of my information during the interview. And if the information is out there, it's really hard to find. So those are some things I feel like would be important and I would like to help with, is making it more accessible and helping to spread the information a little more, because I had no idea about this. And even on the website, I still had a hard time finding those things. Some of my goals are to, I would like to one day be a lawyer, and I'd really like to work in international law and do pro bono for immigration. And those are my biggest goals. But my small goals right now are just to learn as much as I can in college and try to get as involved as I possibly can with college and try to get as much experience and really try to reach out and meet more like-minded people who are also working to do well. And that would be the end of my speech.
Great, thank you very much, Nyla. Are there any questions for the nominee at this time? Please raise your hand. I have a question for you, Nyel. This is a 2-year appointment, so I just wanted to clarify and double check that you are planning on being here for the next 2 years. I know you already have probably some credits, so I want to make sure that it's correct, that you will be here for 2 years.
Yes, I will be here for 2 more years. I'm a junior officially as of like today, because my retroactive credit went through, but since I'm working on a double degree, I still have 60, so I still have 90 credits left, so I'll be here till the end of that.
Great, thank you very much, Nyel. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, we will now move into the debate period. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this bill? See, Senator Vargas.
I actually would like to speak in favor of her. I think that it's something that's really brave and honest to come into a group of, people that are really active on campus, trying to achieve a lot, and say, hey, the first time I first go around, I didn't do what I should up to even my own expectations or my goals. And for Niall to come in and say that about herself is huge. It speaks to her as a person. So I don't know her personally, but just saying something like that, I think is a testament to who she is, and saying, I want to, be representative for people that are, part of that same population, because there are going to be tons of students that are like that have huge potential that maybe just get lost on the way to succeeding and fulfilling those goals. And for her to come back and say, okay, I'm ready. Look what I achieved over the summer. 11 hours over the summer is a lot, especially right now. And she has a family, and to achieve that and do so well, I speak in favor of her just based on those things. I think it's really brave and a lot of hard work. And I think that probably speaks a lot to her character.
Thank you very much, Senator Vargas. Senator Hull has a motion to pass this bill by unanimous consent. If you object to this motion at this time, please raise your hand. Seeing none, this bill passes with unanimous consent of the Senate. Congratulations, Niall. You will now serve as a Supreme Court Justice. We can now move on to item Q, SB-63-045, appoint David Liu to the position of Academics Chairperson, introduced by myself, by the authority vested in me as the Speaker of the Senate, by the Constitution and laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association. I hereby nominate David Liu to the position of Academics Chairperson, and I will give an actual authorship speech, so that's not just me reading the bill. I have throughout the process of interviewing people, we had some really, really great candidates, but it was Senator Liu who came forward and had, concrete ideas and was really able to prove that he is going to put in the work, understands the process. Even at the very first meeting of Senate, or the second meeting of Senate, when he was literally his second meeting ever, he had already talked to people at the Faculty Senate to get some ideas on some things. So he's already built some of these connections, and I really believe that he will be able to fulfill this role really well and be a true leader for our Senate, especially in terms of academics. David, would you like to, or Senator Liu, would you like to give a speech about yourself?
Yeah, sure. So, hey everyone, for those of you who don't know me, my name's David, and I'm currently a pre-nursing major, and I look forward to hopefully serving as the chair of the Academic Affairs Committee. So in my term as intern, I currently have 4 initiatives I hope to accomplish, with many more to come. First, I hope to work with the Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee to resolve some of the issues of accessibility on campus, particularly as most of lectures, a lot of lectures are recorded online. Those who have a learning disability, whether it be auditory, visual, anything else, it's very inaccessible to them, and I hope to work with the Faculty Senate to resolve some of those issues. Second, I hope to work with the Student Advocate to get more students informed about what the Student Advocate is and what they do to help the students. Third, I hope to work with Dr. Kay Morgan to create a service-based certificate to recognize students for their volunteering they've accomplished during their time here at Wichita State. And lastly, I hope to create a new affordability plan to give more students of all backgrounds a opportunity to study here at Wichita State. I'll also be continuing discussions on issues such as the plus-minus system and whatever issues that will be following from the previous session. With that, I'm open to questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Liu at this time? Senator Day.
All right, so I checked your application a little bit, and I was very impressed by how active you are on campus. I'm just wondering if you have enough time to fulfill your duties as a chair, and if so, could you describe how you're going to do it?
Yeah, so great question. So the hours listed, although they are both my other 2 positions, they're what they told me, but in reality, it's more like it's about half of what the hours listed. So I probably have only be working 10 hours as opposed to 20 I listed. And with the classes, they were not, after this, currently, I do not believe the class would take up that much time. And I know I could dedicate at least 15 hours a week to the Senate duties.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing Senator Vargas, go ahead.
I'm sorry, it takes me a second to hit that button. I would like to say that in some other organizations, they were talking about accessibility with regard to online learning. And I was going to ask Senator Liu if he could explain more specifically, or you may not have, you just have an idea to make it more accessible. But if you do have specifics, in what type of ways or what initiatives would you, put in place to make online learning more accessible for other students?
Yeah, sure. Great question. So with regard to online lectures, I think one of the first things is to mandate captioning for all Panopto videos so that those who may have English as a second language or who just who may not hear as well will be able to understand the lectures. In addition, for like all materials, for all Zoom lectures, have them recorded and posted on Panopto. So those who this is also something I discussed with Senator Flores earlier today. So those who maybe cannot make the Zoom lectures do not have to reach out to the professor, which at times would be very difficult, and can just go on Panopto and view the lectures. So those are the two ideas that me and Senator Flores came up with today.
Thank you for your question. Are there any other questions for the nominee at this time? Seeing none, thank you very much, Senator Liu, for your time. We will now move into the debate period on this item. Is there anyone who would like to speak in affirmation of this bill? Senator Mounts.
So I have had the opportunity to work with David throughout the Passage to Success program put on through the Office of Diversity and Inclusion. We were actually Passage leaders this year together. I really watched him come out of his shell actually, because I thought he was for the most part pretty quiet, except for during like the second Senate meeting right before we went on break. But yeah, he's done an amazing job, has really connected with students, and I think is going to be a great fit for this position.
Thank you, Senator Mounts. I'm now seeking a speech in negation for this bill. Is there anyone who would like to speak in negation on this bill? Seeing none, is there anyone who would like to give another speech in affirmation of this bill? Senator Kirk.
Yes, I want to just reiterate what Senator Mounts said. Watching Senator Liu come out of his shell more, and just, I mean, it's been awesome to watch him just work and always having something positive and always having questions to ask him. He's not just sitting there not doing anything. He wants to do all of what he can, and I will be voting in favor, and I will also, I want to put in a motion to pass this bill with unanimous consent.
With a motion from Senator Kirk to adopt this bill by unanimous consent, is there anyone who would like to oppose this bill or this motion at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, this bill passes with the unanimous consent of the Senate. Congratulations, Senator Liu. You are now serving as the Academic Affairs Chairperson. Moving on to item R, SB-63-044, approving the Student Senate Committee appointments. Introduced by myself, by the authority vested in me as the Speaker, by the Constitution and the laws of Wichita State University Student Government Association, I direct the appointment of the Standing Senate Committee appointments. So for accessibility reasons, I will not be sharing my screen to show you all who is in each committee. You should have had the opportunity to review that. And I have added many of our newly appointed senators to this as well. So this goes for everyone who is currently in the Senate as of the end of this meeting. So I will read those for you all. And then if you have any amendments, please write those in the chat. And then Advisor Fonseca will go ahead and change those, and we will vote on each amendment if there are any, and then we'll vote on the bill as a whole. So starting with item 1, appoint members of the Academics Affairs Committee. I hereby nominate Alexander Ratcliffe, Gabrielle Stoddard, Jay Thompson, Mackenzie Lane, Jordy Mosqueda, Chad Roseberger, Bailey Sandy, and Keith Cassidy to the positions of academics committee members. It looks like we can now move on to item 2, appoint members of the Budget and Finance Committee. I hereby nominate Saiprakash Raji, Sahani Jitin, I apologize for butchering your last name, Crystal Zacharias, John Kirk, Jacob Tubach, and Ethan Balzer to the position of Budget and Finance Committee members. Moving on to item 3, appoint members of the Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion Committee. I hereby nominate Andrea Sayens, Bailey McCosh, Camila Gums, Storm Dial, Cheyenne Wen, Cameron Morgan, Hannah Harpel, and Hunter Minette to the positions of Diversity, Empowerment, and Inclusion members. Item 4, appoint the members of Government Relations Committee. I hereby nominate Adriana Lares, Ella Eyrig, Francis Slagley, Grant Clopine, Ann Muika, Anak Vargas, Kyla Miller, Alondra Lerma, and Jack Powers to the positions of Government Relations Committee members. Item 5, appoint members of the Safety and Student Services Committee. I hereby nominate Ariel Langenberger, Hannah Warden, Brooke Guy, Micah Creighton, Omer Abdulaziz, Merrick Petty, Ahmed Ijaola, and Vanessa Turan to the positions of Safety and Student Services Committee members. And item 6, appoint members of the Ways and Means Committee. I hereby nominate Aaron Mounts, Dennis Delgado, Quinn Hughes, Eugene Potts, Nathaniel Thomas, Rachel Spencer, Emily Smith, and Natalia Lozano to the positions of Ways and Means Committee members. That was a lot. Luckily for you, Advisor Fonseca has put in the names in the chat, so if you would like to look at those more clearly, please go ahead. Are there any questions about the nominees at this time? Please raise your hand. Seeing none, I would also like to ask if there are any amendments to this bill at this time. Great. Seeing none, I am looking for a speech and affirmation. Seeing none, I'm looking for a speech in negation. Seeing none, we will now move into the voting period on this item. Go ahead. We are still waiting on some votes, so if you haven't yet, please go ahead and vote. All right, thank you very much. With 29 in favor, 0 against, and 0 abstentions, this bill passes. Great. Now everyone has been nominated to their committees, which means that we will be able to have our first committee meetings at the next Senate meeting. So please reach out to the head of your committee to see when your meeting is going to be. They do differ on times. Hopefully they will put together a group me, send out an email, let you all know what the times of those meetings will be. They will be roughly 5:30 or 6 before the meetings on Wednesday. We can now move on to item 4, referred to committee. I have decided to add this section to our agendas. There's no business that really needs to be covered here. This is just to show everyone what bills are currently in committee. So currently we have the Office Oversight and Management Act of 2020, which is currently being reviewed by the Committee on Ways and Means. And so it's possible that bill could be moved up as soon as next week, or it could take longer depending on how long the Ways and Means Committee reviews the bill. But that's just kind of to be more transparent with what is happening in our committees and to allow the whole Senate to know exactly what bills are potentially coming up here in the future. So we can now move on to officer reports. I can give my report first. Welcome back to the 63rd session. Congratulations to all of our senators-elect. I'm really, really excited to get this started. I kind of wanted to give an update of everything that I have worked on over the summer. As many of you guys know, if you are not newly elected or newly appointed, we have created college caucuses. So every single person within the Senate will serve in a caucus based on whatever college you are in. This will give everyone an opportunity to better connect with the people in your college, better serve the constituents of your specific college, and give everyone a better opportunity to meet with the deans of each college. You are expected to meet once a month and elect a leader. Everyone who's new, I will add you into your GroupMe for your respective college caucuses, probably by Friday. So that's one thing we did over the summer. We also got iClicker. I think it worked really well. I hope everyone else thinks that it worked really well. It was a really good way for us to vote. For those of you who are newly appointed, it's an app that we are using to vote so that we can keep better record of who votes in what way, and we will publish all of these results for each voting, and you can see how each of your senators voted online. That will be posted on our website here soon, as well as a full copy of our legislative packet that I sent out to everybody. Other things that I worked on this summer is I'm currently working on a project with a lot of our RSOs on our campus to find ways to better serve our underserved populations and to help the RSOs that are expected to serve those, giving them the power and the influence that SGA has, and kind of hopefully bringing some of those RSOs underneath SGA. Those are the main projects that I worked on this summer. We also worked on a student fee bill. So for those of you who are newly appointed, it's a big bill. I'll make sure that I send it to you all as soon as possible so you can start reviewing it. All the rest of the senators have had it for roughly 2 weeks because it is big changes to the student fee process. So please be looking out for that. It's really important that we fully understand what we are voting on when that bill finally comes to the floor here in the next couple weeks. That is all of my reports. Are there any questions for me about anything that I've done over the summer or anything coming up here within Senate? Great. Senator Flores, would you like to give your report, please?
Yeah, hi. First of all, sorry that my computer just froze during the middle of the meeting, but I did join the live stream just so I could see what was being said. I am using someone else's computer right now, and for some reason the camera just isn't working. So I apologize for that. But right now DEI is just working on a bunch of things. I had the document pulled up on my computer, but I don't have it pulled up right now, obviously, because it crashed. So basically, I've just been brainstorming different ideas and different demographics that DEI can work on, including different marginalized groups that are maybe not given the same attention as other demographics that might be smaller and more overlooked, and things that we just don't even think about when we think about diversity and inclusion. Mainly been focused on accessibility issues with Senator Liu. We had a meeting earlier today to just discuss where the overlap is. We also had a meeting earlier, meeting with Senator Perkins to discuss some legislation that could potentially be handled by my committee. But yeah, I've basically just been trying to think about how we can translate different events that we had last session that were successes to this session when we're dealing with the pandemic. And obviously we can't have the same setup as we had last year with like having a whole bunch of people in a room. So yeah, if there are any other questions people have, I am free to answer them.
Are there any questions for Senator Flores? Great, seeing none, we can move on to Senator David Liu. Go ahead.
So for the last 2 weeks, I've been kind of thinking of ideas of what we can do to help students, especially in this kind of climate where everything's virtual and a lot of things is changing. I've also been reaching out to several members of the administration to see if I can set up meetings with them and discuss some initiatives and what we can do to better serve students. I think two of the biggest ones is currently that I'm hoping to hit the ground running with is the one Senator Flores mentioned about accessibility and how we can serve those students with these learning disabilities better in a virtual environment. And also with the student advocate, how we can get more students to know about the student advocate, because as it stands, not many students know about the student advocate, but it's such a useful resource on campus. So working with the faculty academic affairs committee to see if what we can do to get more students informed. And I'm open to questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Liu? Great, seeing none, we can now move on to Senator Hull. Senator Hull, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. So this summer I worked on, number one, getting settled into the position, making sure I understood everything just because this is a new role. As previously stated, the treasurer used to be the chairperson of this committee, but now that they're separate, just trying to redefine what this committee does. And so looking into different ways that we can look into funding and everything like that. I worked on the task force for student fees that will be hitting the floor soon. I'm also currently working on an organization appropriations bill, basically making it equal for student organizations to come request funding from SGA. I'm working on that with a couple of fellow senators who were on the student fees task force. And then I also have a virtual conference funding bill that I worked with Treasurer James and then a few of my committee members as well to make sure that our students still have access to funding for virtual conferences if they have to pay to attend those. So those were the couple of things that I've been working on. Let me know if you have any questions.
Are there any questions for Senator Hull? Great, seeing none, we can now move on to Senator Day. Go right ahead.
All right, thank you. My name is Senator Day, obviously. I don't know why I had to say that, but basically the last couple of weeks I've been trying to get a hold of my position to the best of my ability to learn the duties and expectations of being a Senate chairperson. One wrench that was kind of thrown into my plans was that last week my roommate tested positive for COVID-19, so I'm currently in quarantine. I tested negative, but I'm actually not feeling that well tonight, so hopefully I don't have COVID-19, but we'll see. I don't want to alarm anyone, I'm just letting people know. In terms of some specific activities I participated in, a lot of my time has been taken up by kind of getting adjusted and being a part of the Parking Appeals Committee, which is kind of it sounds very, not like a big obligation, but it kind of is, especially in the first couple of days of class, because there are just so many people filing parking appeals. And depending on how the pandemic goes, I don't know if it'll actually remain a major obligation or not, because I don't know, obviously, if we're going to have classes still in the month or two, or even shorter than that. So depends based on how the rollout has gone so far. I've also reached out to the University Police Department to encourage some of their senior staff basically to speak at a committee meeting of ours, which is from 6 to 7, I believe. And I know that a lot of senators who are not on my committee are also interested in the police department. So if they have any questions that they would like to be asked at that kind of forum type setting, just let me know. I can like assign questions to some of my committee members. And just an FYI to my committee members, if you have a question you want to ask, please ask it, and ask your constituents around to see what they're interested in related to the department. I've also reached out briefly to Colin Munson, who many of you have heard of the Shocker Support Locker. And similarly, I hope for him to eventually meet with the committee to talk about the activities of the locker, how to improve them, as well as the presence of food insecurity among the student population, since obviously there's like a huge economic depression going on. And I think it's a fair assumption that there's going to be a lot of students who are going through a hard time right now in that area. So in terms of some future priorities, I haven't really done a lot with this yet, but since I've been locked in my dorm in quarantine, I don't specifically know like a lot. I haven't been around campus looking around, but I'd love to believe, based on like what other people have told me and what I've seen on like social media, that there have been a lot of discontent around the university's handling of the pandemic. I'm hoping the committee will become involved in constructive ways to maybe make sure that there's enough PPE on campus. I'm not sure what that would look like. If anyone has any ideas, please let me know. But like going out to various resources and buildings on campus, making sure that there's actually enough adequate supplies there. And also another thing that we want to do, and this isn't all of it, but there have been numerous complaints, as many of you know, about the quality of the recycling program on campus. Senator Taranto can tell you all about that. So finding concrete ways to improve that system, and also important to educate students about how to properly recycle, because as I understand it, I'm not a recycling person yet, but if you like, it's very easy to contaminate recyclable material by putting the wrong thing in. So making sure that they're doing it properly, and that should take up some of our time. So I'm not gonna bore you any further. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Are there any questions for Senator Day? Great, seeing none, we can move on to Senator Perkins.
Her internet is spotty, so I'm going to read her report on her behalf. So Senator Perkins with Government Relations, she's been working with Speaker Babin and me, the association's advisor, to determine the direction of the newly relaunched committee. She spent the last few weeks focusing on the creation of voter education and voter registration programs that we can safely provide to the student body in this important election year. Additionally, she's been working this past summer, working with the Shockers Vote Campus Coalition, working towards its goal of student education and reestablishing the joy of voting at Wichita State. More broadly, she's been working on getting adjusted to her new role as chair during these unusual circumstances. If you have questions, please put them in the chat or send her an email, because I could not answer those questions if you had any. But that is her report.
Great, thank you very much. We can now move on to Senator Majors, your report.
All right. Hello, everyone. I don't intend to take up much of your time, but I'll tell you specifically what I have been doing and what I intend to do going forward, at least to begin the semester and to begin the year in the 63rd session. As far as what I've been working on, a timeline effectively for the committee as to what we'll be tackling and what we're going to be doing. As far as what we're going to be doing initially, I intend to work on the Supreme Court with my committee, and I am more than open to people outside the committee giving input. I want to establish right now that my committee is not going to be a closed committee. We're going to be very transparent and open. I appreciate that Speaker Babin has introduced the idea of showing what is in committee and just being as transparent as possible. I think that that's really beneficial to the Senate. So yeah, if anyone has any concerns or anything that they would like to see, I'm more than willing to bring that up with my committee and contemplate that myself. But we are intending to work on the Supreme Court. I have been in contact with current Supreme Court justices, as well as Speaker Babin and Advisor Fonseca. And I've been looking at the bylaws myself. I think that there are some fundamental changes that we can make. But I'd like to do that first I'd like to first consult my committee, because I know that there are a lot of great opinions within my committee, and I know that there are a lot of great opinions in the Senate. I also intend to look into the Senate Review Board and the Elections Commission. So as of now, I've just been looking into all of these things, reading into the bylaws, looking outward as to what changes can be made that will most effectively serve the Student Senate. So I think that largely our role is going to be making fundamental changes to make the Senate as efficient as possible to better serve the students of Wichita State University. So those are the things I've been doing. If there are any questions regarding any of those specifically, I'd be happy to answer. But thank you.
Are there any questions for Senator Majors? Great, seeing none, we can now move into the association reports. Vice President Haas, would you like to give the executive branch's report?
Yes, I would. I will start with Senator Khan's report, and I'll just read what she has given me. Welcome back, Senators. Unfortunately, we are not greeting each other in person like years prior, but now we have a bigger responsibility to work towards our common goal, which is to solve the concerns of our student body. Now more than ever, I look forward to the work this body will achieve. And as a reminder, I always have my doors open for all students at all times. I do want to invite everyone present here to watch the live stream of the State of the Student Body, which will be September 3rd at 6 p.m., for which information will be made public in the next few weeks. There you will hear of my goals and ideas that I will execute for the student body. Otherwise, stay safe and keep everyone around you safe. She just wanted to state that that's where her goals and what she has accomplished over this past summer will be located. So please watch that on September 3rd at 6 p.m. As for myself and the rest of the cabinet, so for myself, I've been sitting in the reintegration meetings this summer and making sure that we have policy to reopen campus safely, and that I am continuing to advocate for student voices in those spaces and making sure that administration know the comfortability level of students coming back to campus and what I think we should be doing more and communicating more about. Additionally, Ridge and I have both been meeting with Dr. Jay Golden and Terry Hall throughout the summer, continuing to advocate again and bring student opinions to their tables. I also have been meeting monthly with Darren Boatwright and athletics to work on bringing that fee over to SGA. So just so you all know, Jay Golden is going to be hosting a task force that is going to look over all of student fees and redetermine kind of what all fees that students pay looks like. So we'll be a part of those meetings. Athletics will be a part of those meetings. Health and wellness and online fees people will be a part of those meetings. So that's been ongoing this summer, and Zach James has also been helping me out with that. On top of that, I've been goal organizing and prioritizing. There's an Excel sheet in the share drive that has progress of our goals. So if you have any questions about any goals that we have, I can walk you through that as well. Just please reach out to me. Okay, so for our communications team, which is our Director of Public Relations, David Garcia, and our Director of Media, Masera Al-Sharia, for their report, other than what you can see on our social media, their videos and their engagement there, they have been working on a rebrand, a care package. Please fill out that Google form that David Garcia has emailed out to you all so that we can get your t-shirt sizes and addresses so we can send you out a care package. There will be free coffee from SGA in the RSC from 2 to 3 next Tuesday. We'll be buying students free coffee. We are going to be continuing town halls throughout this next year with administration and just higher ups so that students can get familiar with those on campus that are in higher positions and that they might need to reach out to if they need anything. David Garcia, the Director of Public Relations, will be reaching out to more senators for agenda readings, such as Olivia did yesterday it came out. And then the State of the Student Body address logistics are happening. From Treasurer Zach James, funding applications are live, and also he has been working with Gabe and Maggie to change funding protocols to add virtual conferences. So as a report for our student advocate in the Office of the Student Advocate, Caitlin Hammock has been improving social media and outreach. She's been working on resource accessibility and website accessibility, and Food for Funds is going to be underway September 1st through 3rd. If you have any ideas for outreach or events or engagement, please reach out to her at student.advocate@wichita.edu. That's all I got, folks. Thanks for bearing with me, and I hope you have a great day and you're staying healthy.
Thank you. Advisor Fonseca, your report.
Yes, hello. First of all, thank you all for, as we deal with this technology thing again, as we have Senate again virtually. It's been really interesting. Speaker Babin and I have been preparing for today, I feel like, for the past few weeks. So hopefully things go well for tonight. A few things to report on. So the Shocker Support Locker is open again in normal hours. We are still doing what we did this past summer. We'll only be doing the car hop service, which we have a space outside of Grace Wilkie that students can just drive up and then pick up their order. So it works just like a click list from Dylan's. We're also going to do kind of like an at the door service, so you can walk up to the locker and pick up your items from there, as we're trying to limit the amount of people inside the space. The locker is open from 10 to 6, Monday to Friday, and our order form is on our website on the homepage. So if you engage with students who need to utilize the services of the Shocker Support Locker, please direct them there, or they can reach out to sga.supportlocker@wichita.edu. Few other things, we're going to be coordinating as best as possible a photo shoot for that we can get new headshots for all of you. We totally recognize everyone is in a different position with coming to campus, and we are going to respect that. So we will just get as many photos as we can. And for those who are uncomfortable with coming to campus, between myself or Director of Media, Ms. Sarah, we'll coordinate how we get a photo from you so that we can utilize it for the website and other advertising that we're going to do as well. More than ever, this is probably a very important time that you all engage with your peers and your constituents as much as you possibly can, whether it be through social media, through your, if you're a college senator, through your college avenues, across campus, regardless of where it is, utilizing the responsibility and the duty you all have, not just our sitting senators, but our senators-elect who will be sworn in next week, utilizing your platform to engage with students as much as you can and to hear the concerns that they are sharing, and working towards addressing some of those. The one thing I do, and I will kind of advise you all to think about, Vice President Haas and President Khan and Speaker Babin have been working throughout this summer in various different meetings, various different opportunities to get information and to share information. So before you respond to something via social media or in person or virtually or whatever it is, please make sure that you're sharing correct information. So follow with those three, and they can point you and direct you in the information. If they don't know the answer, they know the people they need to reach out to get that answer. So we want to make sure we're providing correct information out to your peers, but we're also providing good information and rapidly providing that information as well. So if there's something that you see on social media or someone comes to you and talks to you about something, please share that information. If you don't know the answer, tell them I don't know the answer, but I will find out and get back to you, and then reach out to one of those three, because more than likely they have the answer to that question. As Vice President Haas mentioned in her report, we will continue to do town halls, so we'll figure out ways that we can provide an outreach to students in those avenues. The last thing, tomorrow, a part of you've been hearing it in a couple of people's different reports, we have a brand new coalition on campus, our Shockers Vote coalition. It's a voter and election engagement coalition on campus. Its sole purpose is to register students on campus and to engage students in the election process through various different kinds of things. Tomorrow we have a roundtable that we're hosting virtually. We've shared it out on social media. The topic is local government's role in combating COVID-19. The panel will include the mayor, city council members, and county commissioners, as well as some health experts in the city and at the university. It is tomorrow at 5:30 on YouTube, but it's on the university's YouTube. So if you just want to go to Facebook and find the event, I think I invited all of you to attend that. It would be a really good information and opportunity for you all to engage with local officials as well. That is, oh, one last thing. Because with COVID-19, we're kind of trying to adjust and limiting the amount of people in the office. The chairs and cabinet members are not in there every single day. We have a kind of altered schedule to just limit the amount of people in the space. So do keep that in mind. Best advice is just email them or call them or text them and they can get in contact with you. We'll be providing an updated schedule after Labor Day just to give people some time to make adjustments if they have to. That is all I have. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Great, thank you very much. Are there any questions for Advisor Fonseca? Great, seeing none, we can move on to remarks and announcements. For those of you who are new, remarks and announcements is a time where any senator can make any kind of announcement you want. If it's an event about an event that your club is putting on that you want to talk about, if it's just a comment about anything we've done in Senate, you can make any of those now. So seeing that, are there any remarks and announcements? Senator Vargas.
I just wanted to announce and remark to everyone that keep in mind that there is a student town hall for the LAS College, and that'll be on the 25th, which, looking at my calendar, is next Tuesday. And that's going to be at 3 p.m. Can I put the Zoom link in here, or Dean Hipsley also sent it out in an email, but I don't know.
If you could post it on the Facebook, that would be great. I think that's a good place to put it.
Oh, I don't have any social media.
You can also put it in the GroupMe as well. You can send it to me too. And I can
I'll do that. Yeah, I forgot about the GroupMe. I'll do that. I'll stick it in there. I just think it's really important for everyone to come. He's addressing a lot of the things that we kind of talk about here as far as like accessibility, how students feel about the student fees, online classes, online fees when it's like kind of a forced hybrid situation right now, and accessibility for like recorded things. So a lot of the stuff that I think is important to this group, you can voice your opinions, and he really tries to make change on those. Directly after the student town hall will be the faculty town hall. So he'll be able to address those issues that we bring up at that time as well. So I'll share it in the GroupMe, but I think it's good everyone tries to attend. Again, it's the 25th at 3 p.m.
Great. Thank you very much, Senator Vargas. Senator Kirk?
Yes, I wanted to say welcome to all of the new senators and to just everyone. Welcome back. One thing that I want to make known to everyone is because of COVID-19 and everything that is going on, the College of Fine Arts is not going to be putting on the big things that we usually do, candlelight service and the concert that we do to remember the fallen football team that we had. But huge but there. We are going to be doing the Madrigals Singers. We're trying to put on something to still remember the football team and to still give on our candlelight service to previous people that have been here, alumni, and to everyone. If there is anything that you can think of to give credit to our previous football team and to anyone, to the family, to anyone, if there's anything that you can think of, please contact me, email me, text me, I don't care. Get a hold of me. I'm trying to think of different things that we can do that is still social distancing, protecting anyone and everyone, and still remembering the fallen football, to remember anyone and everyone that has came here to the campus, to help them remember that just because we're going through a hard time right now does not make Shocker Nation weak, does not make the United States weak, does not make anyone down. We are still one, we're still strong, we are still the Shocks.
Great, thank you, Senator Kirk. Senator Flores?
Hi, yeah. First, I just wanted to make sure that anyone who wants to contact me, even if you're not in my committee, if you have any ideas, feel free to reach out. I think getting everyone's input is really important, and I like getting new perspectives on things and we have a lot of new senators. Also, another thing I want to share is I would suggest that since we're all going to be staring at computer screens a lot, maybe everyone should invest in like purchasing a pair of glasses with a blue light filter, because looking at screens all the time hurts your eyes, gives eye strain, gives you headaches, and like messes with your sleep schedule. And so I think to alleviate all of that, that's a good idea. And I just wanted to let people know. You can get them really cheap at like Amazon or like Zenni Optical. Those are all just, I don't know. I just thought it would be helpful. And if you want to share that with people, that would also be really great.
Thank you, Senator Flores. And with special permission, I'd like to give permission for Senator-elect Smith to speak. Go ahead.
So this is more for Wichita in general, but I thought it went nicely with Senator Day talking about food insecurity. So there's a project called ICT Community Fridge, and they're partnering with local businesses to provide food to vulnerable populations in the downtown area. So if you work for a local place like I do, you might bring that up to them. Their Instagram is ICT Community Fridge. So yeah, thank you.
That project was started by a WSU student named Tajane Stalker. She's doing really, really great work in our community. Is there anyone else who has any more remarks and announcements? Awesome. I have one really quickly. So for those of you who are new and for our newer senators, there is a requirement for 1 senator hour per week. As this is the first week and technically there's only been 3 days since the semester started, I'm not requiring anyone to have fulfilled their 1 hour for Senate hours this week, but I will ask that many of you, if everyone could go ahead and fill out the form on ShockerSync, that would be amazing. If you are not already a member of the ShockerSync group, please go ahead and request to join. That is absolutely necessary. Everyone needs to have access to our ShockerSync. It's where all of our forms are. So everyone needs to fill out that form. If you don't know what senator hours are, I'm not going to bore everyone and announce what they are here. Please reach out to me. I will give you a fuller explanation. And because I want to help people get out of here quickly. So please fill out the senator hours form. When you get a chance, that would be great. It is technically due by midnight, but I will give everyone until Thursday at midnight. Just practice filling out the form, make sure you know how to do it. Ask me any questions if you have them about the senator hours thing. And Advisor Fonseca did just send the link to the senator hours in the GroupMe group chat. So you should all have access to that. If you are a senator-elect, don't worry about it. You don't have to do it. Thank you all very much. I will also like to ask if our senator-elects could please, if you are still here, just stay for a couple minutes. I want to chat with you for like literally 2 minutes after the end of this meeting. Thank you all very much. I'm very excited to get everything started with this session. We can now move on to our final roll call. And with a silent roll call, I officially call the 3rd meeting of the 63rd session of the Student Senate to end at 9:27 p.m. Thank you all very much. Have a great day. And Senator-elects, please stay for the next couple minutes.